What's up, guys? HTG Brian back with some more LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Good news, if you're tired of hearing me say that, we are almost to the end. That's right, we got the Where's the Wookiee challenge. We got 33 of these Wookiees scattered throughout the galaxy. We're going to find them all. We're actually going to unlock a trophy achievement called Do or Do Not. There is no try for completing all of the challenges. We're going to unlock 5 Kyber bricks, which happens to be the final 5 we need to complete our 1200. And we're also going to unlock our final character, which happens to be the Wandering Wookiee. Woo to the who, or woo to the Wookiee. We got some quick links down below as this is a long one, and we're going to go ahead and pull up our menu, toggle all the way down to the challenges, pull up Where's the Wookiee after a quick recognition of the anti-trooper being completed, and look at that, we've got that reward for the character, we got the 5 bricks, and we're going to pay that 30,000 studs to find out the perfect unlock order. Really, it's just alphabetical based on not the planet, but the location, as you can see. So not the first word, but the after the dash word. So we're going to go ahead and follow this list all the way from top to the bottom. And again, if you have actually unlocked this with the rumor and activated it like we just did in the video, it's going to guide you to all 33 of the areas and sort of to a hot zone where you can search for the Wookiee's actual location. Now here we are, we're going to jump into Cantonica, head over to Canto Bight, and we're going to get our first Wookiee. Now, as per usual, we have removed the traveling load screens, so on our end, it's going to be a little bit faster. Now, we've been being accused of using a quantum computer, and in fact, we got spammed a lot and even had to kind of ask the person to stop because they were saying it so often. But beyond that, you know, we've been accused of using some high-powered equipment over here when really we're just editing out the loading screens, which we've been pretty honest about the whole time, so hopefully that was more of a joke than it was like an actual accusation. All right, because we have the waypoint marker selected for the Where's the Wookiee challenge, it's going to go ahead and guide us all the way up as promised. Now, this one, you know, a lot of these Wookiees are actually at like the furthest point away from where you land or spawn in the area, which is kind of a pain in the old tuchus. This one is up there quite a ways, and look at that, he's tucked into a little nook. So, yep, we're going to go ahead and mark it, walk all the way to the hot zone, get where the Wookiee is, and then show you where the final location is on the map before actually collecting him. So that is the plan. We're going to try to stick to it, and spoiler alert, I've already got to the end, and it worked well. All right, 1 done, 32 to go. So next up, we're going to go ahead and pull up our galaxy map. And we're going to take on Bespin Cloud City, which is down to the left middle. Brian, anytime now? There we go. There's a time or two where I sort of get lost, or maybe I'm checking my notes to make sure that I'm going to the right place, and I'm a little bit slow on the delivery, so I apologize for that, but hopefully it'll get gooder as time goes on. All right, we've officially put the old landing gear down on the pad here, and we are out of here. Now, as things go, as you guys already know, I guess, we've been doing a scouting run on another save that we've played on our PS4, right? And sadly, along my journey, I accidentally found or talked to 4 Wookiees in the early stages of free roaming. And as a result, I didn't know where 4 of them were. This was one of them. So I had to like go and find this one totally blindly without any scouting, but it was actually quite easy. However, he's in this little nook back here too. Look at that. All right, so we whip around all the way down in this lower left side or southwest of the map if you're looking at it. And booyah kashyyyk. So each one of these Wookiees does give us a rumor sort of leading to another task, but because we've already done all the tasks, it doesn't really help us. So next up, we're out of here. We're going to Crait. Crait Outpost, that is. This one's actually fairly close to the beginning, so, you know, some of them are, like I said, way far away for this point. Some of them are actually pretty close. Now, fun fact for you, too, while doing the Crait Outpost free roam video, I accidentally used the push force and destroyed some crystals just trying to farm some studs, but it turns out I freed the Porg because he's kind of trapped behind some red crystals under a ramp. So I had to replay, I had to reload my save and go back, so revert it back to no collectibles on this. And it was literally the last thing I was trying to do, so I had to replay this whole, I know I already shared that with you, but just a little flashback. So, all right, following it all the way up and around, we actually whip out to this ledge up above the old spawning location. And, yeah, pretty sweet stuff. He's just there waiting for us. Sadly, there's no grapple point or any way to get up there. Otherwise, you got to run up the ramp and all the way around that swikle. It's kind of a loop-de-loop, if you will. Look at that. We got 3 of 33. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, next up, we've got Kef Bir Crash Site. That's right. We're going to go ahead and land. A little bit of irony coming up, too. If you notice in the background, we've got a little bit of a downed, well, you know what that is, right? We're going to go ahead and pull up both the Death Star and the Death Star 2 in Kef Bir space next, which is, again, a little ironic considering what had happened, right? All right, so here we go. We're going to turn around. This one's actually really close to the spawn, so I feel like we need to give the old devs a high five for the easiness of this one. He's literally just chilling on a rock behind us. Get up close and personal, hit that icon. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and show you where it is on the map. Good to see you again. I find it so relaxing watching the ocean waves. See, some of them are kind of funny. Like, honestly, I read most of them on my scouting run. But, you know, for the sake of the video, we went ahead and sort of skipped over most of those. All right, as I already mentioned, we're going to head to space. Now, which area of space you go to, it doesn't matter. However, it is important that you have unlocked all of the capital ships, or at least the Death Star and the Death Star 2 for these next 2. We do have a couple more down the road, but we'll get to those later. As you can see, we have literally unlocked everything, so we've got all of the capital ships ready to just spawn. So we're going to go ahead and do that, head to space. Go up to your capital ships, literally select it, and it should spawn right in front of you, allowing you to go ahead and land on it. Now, again, I probably should have recommended that we have everything else done before we get to this. However, it doesn't really matter. You guys can actually knock most of these, if not all of these, out fairly early in the game as far as completion status. But there are some requirements in order, like, for example, the Death Star has a couple of, you know, areas of the story that need to be completed before you can access it. So definitely some requirements. If you're wondering why you can't do this, definitely go back and follow our playlist order, because that's going to be the most efficient and best way to go about things. All right, following all the way in, we got the control room here, and he's just chilling in the back room. So we'll go ahead and give you a quick peek on the map-a-rooney, and we'll pick up Wookiee number 5. That's right. And then we're just going to actually go right back to space out in Kef Bir. And once we get to Kef Bir space, we should be able to deploy the Death Star 2, which happens to be next. So again, does not have to be Kef Bir space that you guys launch into. You can go to any spatial area you like. But just for the irony of Kef Bir crash site and having the old Death Star 2 here, it's kind of funny, huh? All right, so next up, we got to pull up our capital ship menu and toggle over to Death Star 2 and spawn a Roo. That's right. Get out of here. New and improved. That's right. That's like before and after kind of a thing. Almost. Not quite, but similar. And let's see. We'll go ahead and target this bad boy and land on him. Again, if you're using the quick links to get here, we recommend that you complete all of the capital ships and most of free roam, if not all of it, before taking on this challenge. But it is up to you. Ultimately, you can play this in any order you like. In fact, you can get all the Wookiees first thing as soon as you complete story if you want, before even doing free play. But there's going to be a couple capital ships and things that'll prevent you from getting them all. So it's just up to you how you want to do it. We wanted to make sure we could get all 33 before we took on this challenge ourselves. And it really meant we had to do basically everything else first. So we knew fairly early in the scheme of things that this was going to be one of, if not the last challenge to do. All right, check it out. We got Buddy hanging out in the back corner way over here. Now, my map is being a little wonkadoo. For the next couple of pop-ups here, for some reason, it actually shows way away from where I am instead of targeting where I am. Normally, when you pull up a map, it shows you right where you are, right? For some reason, it's being a little bit defiant, if you will. So, Death Star 2, done did. We are out of here. We're going to head over to Dragonsnake Bog on Dagobah. That's right. This is actually another real easy one. It's basically right in front of us. We got to hop up a couple of little hoppity logs there. Look at what's Vader doing. It looks like he's doing a little balance act right there. Doing some core training there. And getting that stiff abdomen region. Actually, I'm not sure if that's what would really work that out. But right over to our left, we can see the Wookiee up on that tree branch up top. And luckily for us, there's a couple of hippa to the hoppa spots. So I struggled to get all the way up there, and then I almost botched this next little jump there, but luckily for me, I didn't. So we'll go ahead and step up close, and woohoo, good to see you again. Swamps like this are hard to come by these days. Yeah, that's probably true. Most of the swamps have been eradicated and built up into like apartments or mini malls or something, and it's pretty true. He's not wrong. Next up, we're heading over to Hoth. That's right, a Hoth a good feeling about this one. This is actually Echo Base, the only place you can land, and on Hoth, that is. And we're going to go ahead and follow this. This was another one of the 4 that I had accidentally did early in my free roamage. So I was like, when I landed here, on this take right here, I was like, all right, lead me there, waypoint marker. And I had my fingers crossed. I was ready to actually leave the area and then re-land and do a different take. But I actually found him. Look at that. He's hiding in here. And I sort of remembered that as I got closer. I was like, you know what? I feel like I tried to buy a rumor to learn some stuff about Hoth, but it turns out it was the Wookiee. And, you know, he was hiding in the dark place, so, you know, I made a mistake. Hey, did you mistake me for a Wampa? You know what? I actually did, bro. We were just talking about that. Ironic that you should bring it up. I guess I didn't say Wampa, but I mistook him for a rumor giver. All right, next up, off to Endor. Going to visit the old Ewok village, which was one of the earliest places that we took on for free roam. So kind of fun to be back here, but at the same time, like, I'll be happy to be done with it because there's a lot of ups and downs and all arounds, if I'm being honest. In fact, I think I even get a wee bit lost here, making my way. Oh, no, I don't get lost. I plummet to my doom. You'll see. That's right. So this is another case of, I actually recorded this roughly a week ago due to birthday stuff and some real-life things going on around here. I procrastinated on cutting the audio, so old man Brian Brain isn't super fresh on what I had recorded. But watch this. Watch it. Ready? I'm going to drop down and grab this handle. No! All right, I thought about editing that out, making myself look a little cooler than I am, but I figured I could afford to lose a little street cred at this point since, you know, we are on, like, video, like, what, 172 or something like that. Definitely have earned a little bit of that street cred. Now, here we go. We're going to run down and around and up and down and around again. See, this is what I was saying. It gets a little confusing, right? And my waypoint marker is like Dunzo. And luckily for me, he's on the backside of this tree fort here. So definitely a good map showing here, as it could be quite confusing on where and how to get here. It's like a home away from home. Imagine that, bro. Imagine that. All right, next up, we've got ourselves another capital ship. So this is another one of those situations where having played through all of free roam and unlocking all of the capital ships will come in handy. It'll just be one less thing you have to do right now. But if you haven't yet, you're going to have to take out the Executor, or Executor, depending on how you want to say that. I say them both ways, so y'all don't crash down in the comments there and let me know I messed it up. But essentially, we go ahead and spawn it and then get on it. That's right. I wish I would have come up with that phrase a little earlier, because I could have abused it a little more and made it one of my staple sayings, but that's right. So we've gone ahead and landed on it now, and thanks to our waypoint marker being set for the Where is the Wookiee challenge, we're going to go ahead and get guided basically right to it. If I remember right, this one is fairly easy, just kind of standing in a hallway, if I remember. Yep, there he is, a Rottler. So we'll go ahead and approach him after showing you on the mappy real quick. And look at that. Just like that, we've got the 10th Wookiee, so we're a third of the way done. Fancy seeing you here. Not really. We're searching for you, bruv. We're searching for you. All right, so next up, we are actually going to take off to Coruscant and head over to the Federal District. Now, this is where it gets a little weird, too. Because of the alphabetical following here, we are on Coruscant Federal District. The next one could be Coruscant Uskru District, but alphabetically, that doesn't work out. Next, we actually have, let's see here, it looks like Pasaana and the Forbidden Valley, right? The Federal District, Forbidden Valley. Okay. This one was actually one of those ones that could throw you for a loop, too. We're going to go ahead and hop on the taxi. That's right. Need a taxi? Just ask me. We'll go ahead and hop in, and we're going to go all the way over to the Coruscant Senate building. That's where it is. In fact, it's right out in front. As soon as we pull up in our taxi, you should be able to see it off to the side. Although, wait, camera swing in. There it is, over there, right in the middle of your screen. So we're going to go out over to the left, do a little platforming, and jump out onto a ledge, which should allow us access. Now, if you miss this jump, it could be another plummet to your doom. That's a lot further than the last one over on the Ewok village, but here we are, the Coruscant Senate building. That's definitely a key factor for the Coruscant Federal District collectible here. All right, next up, as I already mentioned, we're going to take off and head over to Pasaana. That's right, the Forbidden Valley. This one is actually right on top of one of the tents down below in the main city area. Likely one that you guys already grabbed if you were not being as defiant in grabbing them as I was. That's a task that's actually become a lot easier over the time. You know, when I first started doing these guide videos and I was doing free roam and stuff, it was really hard for me to skip and like not just grab a gold brick right in front of me or whatever the case may have been. But as I've gotten gooder and the time has passed by, I feel like it's a little easier. I just know that that's my goal because, you know, and a lot of people ask, why don't you grab those kyber bricks or the gold bricks that are right in front of you? And why do you wait until you... And it's really just a matter of being able for you guys to track my progress. Now, if I grab that brick, let's say when I'm just loading from one story level to the other, but I happen to pass by in this particular section... When I actually come to complete this section, it's already going to be missing, and it won't be there for you guys to see. And although it might be easy enough for you guys to go, oh, here, it's right here, I'll pick it up, it might not be. So we want to make sure we collect it all on screen. Just like this Wookiee right here who's bleeding through the bottom of the tent here, I guess through the top of the bottom of the tent. Something like that. His feet are bleeding through the tent. There we go. Nailed it. First try. Next up, we are out of here. We're going to go to Yavin 4 and visit the Great Temple. This is another one of those ones that I think would be helpful to have followed this video versus trying it on your own, because the waypoint marker wants you to go inside and up and around and do all this stuff, and we've got an easier route. We found that most of these extras on this area are found around the edges of things. And you know what? I lied. The waypoint marker is actually taking us around the backside here. I was sure that it took us through the middle and busted it out. And maybe if I would have taken a step forward, it would have. I feel like in my PS4 Scout, it tried to take me the wrong route. But here we go. He's up top. This one is going to require the use of the Force. Does not matter if you pick a good guy or a bad guy. In our case, we've got Vader out already, so we just switched to a protocol droid. Now, because we have Vader, we could just force choke him, right? That's one of the things that the bad guys do that the good guys do not. But just for keeping things simple, we're going to keep it consistent. And here we go again. Our map is not pulling up to where we are. It's like, you are over here. No, you're not. We're over there. But anyways, pull up the Force character, use a protocol droid to pick him up and put him up top. Should be pretty easy. Talk to him, and look at that. We got 13 of 33. So next up, we're off to Naboo, Lake Paonga. This one is actually inside the Lake Paonga. It's like the underground water, you know, the underground water, underwater city. There we go. Boy, you can tell I've had some caffeine this morning. Psych. I haven't, for the record. It is early, too. It's way early. I've just barely got Reese off to school. And here we go. We're going to go take a nice little dip in Lake Paonga into Gungan City. There we go. I don't know why old man Brian Brain couldn't pull that name out. But as soon as we gain control inside the city, we're actually going to take about 10 steps forward and then look down to the left, safely fall down below. And look at that. He's tucked in here. I know that I almost swooped him up a long time ago when we were doing the Gungan City stuffs. But as it turns out, I was, you know, hesitant and good. I was good that I was resistant because now we got them all. See, isn't it nice knowing that all 33 were not obtained? I didn't have to edit anything. I didn't have to do anything weird. Like the anti-trooper was kind of an anomaly. We mixed everything up together. You know, we try to avoid those mix-match ones up as much as possible and make sure that we avoid the collectibles so they're easy for viewing. All right, Tatooine, Jundland Wastes. We were here not long ago getting those mouse droids, which there were a couple of them here. Now we are going to go a little bit further in the opposite direction to find the Wookiee. He's actually chilling down in a little cave, sort of down under. Well, we'll show you. You got to make a nice little hop. In fact, there's a distraction coming up here. And based on the waypoint marker and how it takes us, it could be easily confused with where we need to do. So drop down. Instead of going up and around on those twirly poles, drop down and drop down again. And look at that. Down behind us, there should be a cave chilling with the Wookiee inside. So take a quick peek at the map-a-roo. And booyah, Kashyyyk. Good to see you again. A trip to Tatooine wouldn't be complete without wandering something. Again, I probably should have left those a little bit longer so I could have... Oh, look at that. I got... I had a little button snafu there. Whoops. I guess I could have read it the second time. Anyways, we'll go ahead and pull up our map and look for Kashyyyk. Kachiro? You know, it was a little ironic a bit ago. We were over in the Ewok village, and Mr. Wookiee was saying that this feels like the home away from home. Well, he should find some, you know, some normal company here, as this is his actual home. We are on Kachiro? Kachiro? I'll probably catch some guff for that one, but I think it's Kachiro, right? Like, I think? Maybe? Anyways. All right, we got a long journey. You got to go all the way up and around, about 7 circles. If you get dizzy running around, you might be in trouble here because we got a lot of loop-to-looping. And basically, we get all the way to the top and out on an upper ridge overlooking most of the area. And the guy's just kind of chilling there waiting. So we'll go up and around and around. And then we got to head a hard left, go out on the ledge to the hard right. And there he is. Woot. All right, look at that. Look at that view. Cannot deny the spectacular view. And this basically puts us at the halfway. I mean, not quite, but basically. And woo to the who. Getting to jump on, and hopefully you do too. Next up, we're off to Takodana. That's right. We're going to go to Maz's castle. This one is probably one of my least favorite ones. There's another one that could be sort of problematic if you're bad at jumping and jetpacking, but we got that covered. So with this one, though, this one requires a bunch of stacking. You know, for the most part, we can cheese those up high points by using a character with the Force and a protocol droid like we've got out right now, but that's not going to work in this case, at least not right away. We still use that method, but we got to build up a bunch of boxes first. And there's not only just the regular, like, treasure chest boxes, there's actually some big dog boxes, too. And I sort of mess up in this, and I'll tell you how. We're going to start off by swooping up this big box out of the water, and we're going to move it over to this large column. That's right, there's this stone column over here. Where you put it isn't super important, but you want it to be fairly close, but not right on top of it, because you're going to want to lean some of these a little bit so that you have a little bit of a stairwell. So there is a third big box. I grabbed the second one from the shore side there, but there is another one in a tunnel, and I actually struggled to get it out in a minute. You'll see me. I sort of recommend stacking the 3 big boxes up first. It is not a necessity, but I think it'll help you guys if you use the third big box. Now, third big box is over in a cave right over to, well, right behind our right side of the camera right now. So if you go up that little path, there should be one up there. But meanwhile, I'm just grabbing all these little guys and stacking them up, getting a nice little stairwell up there. But sadly, it turns out that I need to get a little bit higher. So I go in and I try to grab this big dog, and I've struggled. I honestly couldn't get it out. It respawned 3 different times, and I was just struggling with it. So I just said, forget about it. And I went and grabbed another little guy. Stacked him up on top, and I think there's one more box that I grab. Yep. Once we slap it up top, we should be able to jump up there, and by now you're probably getting pretty close to being able to jump all the way up there on your own. Now, if you have struggled to stack this up, or maybe it's at a wee different angle, you might need to use the Force to pick up the droid down below and lift him up above you. But in our case, we've actually built up high enough that we can actually jump up there with Vader on his own. So I know I mentioned earlier that we went ahead and used the same method, and it still could happen for you. You could use less boxes and do it that way, or whatever. Maybe you stacked all the boxes and still need it. Regardless, it is an option for you. Go ahead and talk to him up there, and next we're going to take off and go to Mustafar. That's right. That's a far ways away, Brian. Really, it's not that far. It's just Mustafar. No? Boo? Bad joke? All right, moving along. We're here, the mining complex. This one is off to the lower right side. In fact, you probably remember we actually had to do some story-based bits back in this area a long time ago. In fact, for us, it's almost been a calendar year. Oh, that's crazy to think. We started in April. As of this recording right now, it is late January the following year. So, oh boy, I've stretched this one out on purpose. Mainly because we just didn't have any other LEGO content to cover. So making sure that we keep with our LEGO uploads and making sure we do it right and not mess anything up. So far, I think we've hit that mark, but I guess you guys can be the judge. All right, we've officially talked to him, and we've got 18 of the 33 done dead. So next up, we're heading back over to Tatooine to check out Mos Eisley. Now, again, a little bit of an oddity here as we are going in the alphabetical order of the landing areas and not the planetary names. So we actually had to go to the last location on Tatooine, skipping over Mos Espa, right? Which will be likely pretty soon. So, in fact, I think it's next. I think we hit a taxi and roll over there right after this. This guy is actually all the way tucked around and up, kind of in an upward location. In fact, we'll see here in a hot second. Actually, no, that's right. It's the next one that's up on the roof. This one is tucked around in a corner. And, the waypoint marker, watch how this works. It should guide us right to it, but it sort of makes a weird turn here and avoids going right to him. Watch this. Ready? So we're going to come around this corner here. Instead of going left and going right to it, it takes us the right side of this building. And it's somewhere in this area. But look, he's just right there. We could have just straight lined it, beamed all the way through, and nailed it. But the game wanted us to go a different direction. So quite a ways away from where we landed here, all the way tucked around this corner. We'll go ahead and swoop them up. Hello, fellow traveler. Such a wide collection of travelers here. That's a very good observation. Woohoo. All right, next up, we're going to go ahead and pull up our map back into Tatooine. And like I said just a hot second ago, we're going to go to Mos Espa. So hop in that taxi, and we'll be there before we know it. And if memory serves me correctly, which don't take my word on it just yet, this one should be up on a rooftop. So there's a little bit of a hippa to the hoppa all the way to the toppa. Probably a couple different ways to get there. In fact, you might even take note of the Force and Protocol droid method to being able to lift people up, because it's a little bit of a funny angle on the jump. I do recommend a jetpack, and we'll switch over to Django here in a minute. But we're going to run all the way over that first. You can see that the waypoint marker actually is kind of up on a rooftop right now. It's above us, even showing the arrow indicating up. And once we get there, we can actually see him up on that tall tower there. So we're going to jump up on this boingy and get up a little bit higher, as high as we can get, higher than a whale. We'll go ahead and switch over to Django with the jetpack, and we fail our first jump, but the second one is good to go. We'll go ahead and make our way across that slab up top to the ladder. Do you even ladder, bro? All right, look at that. We do. We do. And we're up here. We got Wookiee number 20, number 20, twin. All right. Next up, after we get this guy, we're going to actually take off and head over to Jakku. That's right. Where are you at? Jakku Niima Outpost. So we're officially through my first page of notes here. I actually had to write all these down and follow the order, right? Because I didn't want to pull up the menu every single time. I just figured that was a little bit of an extra that we could avoid. So I wrote it all down. That's right, I used a pen and paper. Like, who does that anymore? I guess I do. This one is down in the town. This one's actually kind of a funny angle to get to as well. We are going to recommend using the Force and a protocol droid, but you're going to actually have to stand on a box or two to get the height, because it's way up there. In fact, you can almost see the Wookiee right now. There is that little checkpoint right ahead of us. There he is. He's up top right there on the edge of the town. You can see it's kind of like the gate, the entrance-exit area here. And we'll go ahead and switch to a character that can use the Force. I'm going to jump up on these boxes, which gives me just enough height to get him up there. Go ahead and pick up our R2-D2 and drop him like he's hot. And, of course, once I get up here, I'm going to switch back over to a jetpacker, because it's just easier to get up there, that little extra boost. And run down the top of this gate, and woo to the hoo-hoo. We got the Wookiee, and so should you. Let's see here. What do you got? What do you got? Hello again, friend traveler. Oh, fellow traveler. It looks like, it smells like scrapyard. Well, you know what? You're not wrong there either. All right, Jakku, it's been nice, but we are out of here. Next up is Utapau. We're going to head over to Pau City. This one is actually pretty easy to find, too. It's not too far away. Got to run up a couple sets of stairs, and, you know, it's almost right in front of you once you get up top. So, you know, some of these I feel, like I said before, some of these are going to be a lot easier than others, and some people, you know, may have already swooped these up. That's probably going to be the biggest what for people doing this, is that they probably forgot which ones they did and didn't get. And, like, let's say you land here in Pau City and you follow this all the way up, and you're like, hey, it's not there for me. Well, you know, you should be able to recognize if it's here or not based on if there is a waypoint marker leading the way. If there isn't a waypoint marker, you've likely already got this. And that's assuming you've selected the Where's the Wookiee challenge. So hopefully you have. And we got this guy, so we are out of here. Next up, we are, Dagobah. That's right, heading over to Resistance Base. All right, we are officially landing here. I love it that Vader's just wandering around. Like, why is the secondary character not in the ship with us? Is it because there's not an actual seat there? I mean, they could have. I mean, it's got to be just like a weird bugaboo. But all right, this one's actually really close to the spawn. We're actually going to use a grapple character to go ahead and jump up onto this giant satellite. Once we get up there, he should just be right to your right. Pretty simple stuff here. Once we go ahead and collect them, what you got for us? You got, I could see why someone would want to set up a base here. Yeah, again, he's actually pretty accurate with his observations. All right, everything else should be good to go here. So next up, Asian Claws. That's right, we're going to head over to the Resistance camp. And this one, I mean, you know, earlier I mentioned if you were bad at jetpacking, that this might be the bad one for you. Most of these are pretty simple, but this one could present a little bit of a challenge based on where it is and how I chose to get there. Now, if I'm being totally honest, I nailed this every time when we were here for the free roam. I also nailed it in my final go here, but I did struggle a wee bit on my PS4 go. It took me 3 or 4 good attempts before I finally nailed this jump, and maybe that's what helped me get gooder. Now, the waypoint marker tells me to go under to the right. I went over to the left just because we have a little bit better angle to see what we're doing here. And you can see he's right up above us right now. What we need to do is get up and around this area here, get up top on this little ledge. There is a cabinet. It looks like an arcade cabinet. We'll go ahead and jump up on top of it, which gives us a little bit of a boost in height. And this is where it gets tricky. You got to run, jump, and jetpack out here. Now, you could probably use the Force and a protocol droid. You could probably find a box or two to stack up with the Force as well. Maybe not. But in our case, we just found that that jump was good as long as you nailed it. And we did, so hopefully you'll do the same. All right. I do believe there's some debris down below you can build up to. It's been a while since I had been here, though, so that was my go-to, was to jump up top. And next up, we got Sith Citadel over on Exegol. This one is kind of a tricky one, too, because it leads you to a wide open area, and then they stuffed him into a corner behind a wall, which you cannot visually see for most of the searching area. But it's, you know, no worries. We got you covered. We got you covered. Go ahead and jump on the old elevator, hit the button, which seems to be a little bit slow in the uptick here, or downtick, I guess we'll call it. As we're making our way down, you might make note of a purple stud in the hands of one of the statues here. At this point, we have really no need for monies. I mean, we do. We still got to buy a lot of characters, a lot of ships, and a lot of things, but ultimately, we've got way more than we could probably ever possibly need. So we'll go ahead and make our way all the way down and around, collecting all the studs on the ground, too. You know, got to get them all, got to get them all. And eventually we make it over here to the hot zone, which, again, is large and in charge. But we know right where this bad boy is. He's actually hiding behind this little pillar out here. See, look at that. That's cheeky. That's not Wookiee. It's cheeky. Got a little view on the maparoo there. And let's see here. This place gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yep. Agreed. Next up, though, we are blowing this popsicle stand and heading over to Stalgusin Hive on Geonosis. So, Geonosis it is. This one is pretty simple, too. Let's see here. We got 26. We're on 26 right now. We're actually in the home stretch almost. And hopefully this is one of the last challenges you have, or the last one, as it should unlock the do or do not. There is no try trophy achievement for you, which is one of the last couple that we need as well. I think there are 4 trophies left minus the platinum for us, which unlocks when you get the other 3. All right, I made the nice jump there, and I hit the map, and it actually threw me to the ground floor, which was not ideal. So we'll go ahead and run back up this. I'm not sure why it did that. I think it's just a funny angle and how I pulled up the map. Like, you kind of twist to the side to get that hologram to pop up. Sort of reminds me of the other Star Wars game, Fallen Order, where I hated the map with a passion. Oh, man, that map was the worst. It was cool looking, but I just did not like the functionality of it. All right. We got to pull up into space and launch the Steadfast capital ship from our menu. So we're actually, you know, again, the space area does not matter where you are as long as you have the Steadfast ship available to spawn. You just need to be in space to make it happen. So we've officially gone up to Geonosis space, and just to keep it local and simple. And the Steadfast has officially been spawned, so we're going to go ahead and land on it now. turns out there is one more, maybe two, at least one more capital ship we need to have completed to land on. So again, I highly recommend you follow our playlist order, get all the free roam stuff done, get all those capital ships unlocked, and then finish with these last couple of challenges, as just saves you from zigging and zagging all over the galaxy. I mean, there's still a little bit of that, but I mean, a lot less. All right, the waypoint marker is going to follow us all the way down and around into a little cubby hole here. We've got a little janitor's closet or something that he's chilling in. Let's see, friend, you reckon you plan to put posters? Oh, so yeah, he's giving us a tip about stuff we already got. So appreciate that, but we got it all figured out. Next up, we got to head to Ahch-To. Bless me. Over to Temple Island. That's right. Ahch-To, H2. Everybody's got their own take on how to say it, so I'll let you decide for yourselves. But I took a couple stabs at it. Probably failed both of them, all of them. But all right, follow the waypoint marker. You know, I mentioned a lot of zigging and zagging around the galaxy. There is a ton of zigging and zagging here on this level. Like, seriously, come on, game. We will follow it all the way up to the top, though. This one's kind of in a funny spot, too. You got to do some rock jumping, and he just so happens to be hanging out on the top of a rock out in the middle of nowhere. So I do get a little excited here. I try to hit this high jump first, thinking that I was making good ground, but turns out you don't need to do that. You need to work on this next one over here to the right. That's the important one. And as soon as you get up to the top of this one, you should have a visual of the Wookiee. And it should just be a matter of jumping on down. Jump on down to the Wookiee side. Jump on down to the Wookiee side. Oh, sorry, that was a little solo for the Wookiee there. All right, so here he is. We'll go ahead and see what he has to say real quick. Looks like, what a beautiful island. Yep, it's very true. It's true. All right, pull up the map, and let's go ahead and toggle over to Naboo Theed. We're going to knock out Naboo. This one was fun as it had the shooting gallery. Like, basically, as soon as you got off the ship, it was right there, which was handy for that one. But not so much the same for this one. We actually have to use, quite possibly, the longest ladder in the game. Although, I don't know, the Great Temple has that ladder on the right side, which we used to find the Porg. That was a long ladder. This one's a pretty long ladder, too, though. You guys can be the judge. You know, I wonder if that's like a stat that's in games. Like, what is the longest ladder in a Lego game? You know what I mean? Like, they have, like, best character, strongest guy, blah, 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 all these different things. I don't think I've ever seen the longest ladder or the hardest jump. Or, you know, I don't see myself making videos like that. But, you know, I've never seen stuff like that. Come on, YouTube, get creative already. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so here we go. We're following the waypoint marker all the way over. I tried to make a cheese jump here and failed miserably, so let's all try and forget that that happened. And we'll work our way over to this ladder, as I had mentioned. It is quite the doozy. And that's one of the skills that I'd love to see in a future Lego game, too, is ladder traversing. Like, you know, speed up the speed of the ladder climb. That would be amazing, because, like, that was pretty long. Not quite the whole Jeopardy song, but long. And here we go. The Wookiee's actually chilling on a bouncer, on a little awning off to the side of the top of this building here. So after a long trudge north from the spawn point and a little higher north on the ladder, we could find him up here. It says, Theed is rich in community, I think is what he said. So, all right, Mapatoony it is. We're going to head over to Kamino. That's right. Kamino? I always want to say Kamino, but it's definitely not a U at the end, right? It's got to be Kamino. Tipoca City. Hopefully I said that right, too. There's a few of these that you'd think by now that I'd have figured out, but, you know, everybody's got their own take. It's just like in the movie, too. Like, I've mentioned this a million times. You got Han for parts of the movies and Han for the Falcon, the Falcon. You got all these different ways of saying things, and I think that was just, you know, Lucas's way of saying, you know, there's no one way to say it. Now, this one's kind of tricky, too, because he's hiding in another closet in this back room over here, and it's really easy to go zinging right by him. And actually, you can miss that doorway, too, because when I first came into this room in my scouting run, I actually did not see it. I was like, come on, he's in the wall? How is he in the wall? But then I turned and was like, oh, there it is. There's a doorway. All right, so we're done there. We got to head up. Oh, we're going to take off into space. And we're going to spawn the Trade Federation Battleship Capital Ship. Boy, that's a mouthful. And it's the big round circle one. Or I guess it's a C shape, right? And see? There it is. Boo. All right, I had to drop another bad dad joke, but I had to hit my quota, right? You know, I have to hit my minimum for each video. All right, we'll go ahead and land on the old capital ship and follow our waypoint marker, which this one is, let's see here. I'm trying to remember where this one is, actually. I feel like he's just chilling in a hallway pretty close to where we spawn, but I'm likely wrong on that. So let's go ahead and see where my gameplay takes us. All right, waypoint marker through the door, check. Down the hallway, check. And, oh, that's right. We got to bust a left and then a hard right, I think, is how this one works. Nope. Right, and then another right. Okay, there he is. There he is. Nailed it. First try. All right, so he's tucked into another I don't know why he loves the closet so much. We'll have to get him out of there. All right, see you good. So good to see you, sir. Yes, indeed, Irini. We'll go ahead and next up we got Jakku, Tuanal Village. Now, you know how poetic it would have been had this have been the last area that we needed to take on? The reason I say that is because if you have any memory of when this started, we actually started our free roam journey with Tuanal Village. So it would have been pretty sweet to have this be the final landing place. But no, they had to change it, make it 32, not 33. So this is another one of those Wookiees that I got really early. I accidentally got it while I was doing my scout for the PS4 run on this. So as you can see, I'm a little bit like, I mean, I'm trying to play it off like I know where I'm going. Like, yeah, see that lady right there in front of that cab? Yeah, right here on the right of that cabin is going to be where it is. It worked out that way. He's just hiding over here in the dark. Like, why is it so dark over here? It's crazy. Get some street lights out there. And last but not least, people, we've got Coruscant, the Uskru district, which you had to have known this was going to be the last one based on the U, right? The Uskru. So this one's pretty simple, pretty close to the beginning. I am going to recommend a jetpacker. However, if you struggle with the jetpack jumps, you know, using a force character and a protocol droid could do the job as well. You can see he's just actually chilling right up there on the top of those buildings. So we're going to use this ledge right here and do the old jump and zoom. And look at that. A zoom, a zoom, zoom, and a boom, boom. Just grab the Wookiee. All right, we've got him, and wait for it. We're going to go ahead and snag him, and once we do, it's going to unlock that do or do not. There is no try trophy, and it's also going to give us that fancy, glittery celebration. Wookiee! Look at that. So we got that trophy, we got the challenge, and we got that wandering Wookiee character, which was our final character, and we're even going to prove it to you. So, guys, this is like bittersweet. Like, I'm super excited to be done, but I'm also like, oh no, we're done. Like, I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't. We're going to go ahead and pull up the menu, though, and show you our final totals for free roam challenges. Look, 225, 135, 140, 765, 38, 10. Oh my gosh, we got them all. So now we'll go ahead and pull up the overall. And I know people have been asking, like, what's your overall game time? It's a lot. I don't know what it is at this point. But look, we've got all of those collectibles. It feels so, so good. Now, we do have a couple of trophy achievements we plan on uploading videos for. And then we'll go ahead and drop a schedule at some point of when we plan to do the final stream where we unlock all of the characters, all of everything that we got left. Everything. That's right. All of it at once. So hopefully we'll see you there for that live stream. But guys, that's going to do it for me. As always, until next time. See ya.